I'm about to go to a Wushu event I haven't been to in over 20 years. And here's the thing, it starts tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. in Los Angeles. I'm currently in Tulsa at 5 p.m. the night before, and I have 1,500 miles. Got to catch 2 flights, catch a rental car, get some sleep, and then head from Long Beach to Los Angeles by 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I have to go. And I think my flight's boarded. So time to go.
Clear of the tram doors.
I made it. I think on the plane, I got about 0 hours of sleep, so I didn't really get much sleep at all. So I really need some tonight. I made it to my dad's place. We watched the rest of the Angels versus Red Sox game, and then I took a shower, and now I'm gonna go to bed. I gotta wake up in, like six and a half hours. Okay, gotta wake up in 6.5 hours, so I'm gonna go to bed, and good night.
Oh, that was not enough sleep. I have like 1 hour to get up there. Let's go.
So according to Google Maps, it's gonna take me about 35 minutes to get there. So here we go. So here's the thing. For the most part, today I will be judging at a competition. And in the beginning of judging something, I always feel a little bit nervous because there's a lot of rules to keep in your brain. I mean, that's why they do like a whole certification course. And especially with non-do events, I always have to remember that right when you start, it's always a little bit nerve-wracking to try and remember what you're doing. But once you start, once it actually gets going, then it's like you just kind of get into the swing of things. It's kind of like learning a language. You don't speak very often. You speak it like once every 3 months or something, and you're like trying to remember just basic words. I think what I need to do is come up with some game plan for consistently and regularly reviewing all the codes. I was doing it on the plane last night, but I think it would be a good idea for me to just make that a regular habit. Anyway, I gotta drive. I gotta get up there, and I think I need a coffee, so maybe we'll find a coffee. This is pretty crazy. I've already run into like 4 people I know. And there's Peter Dang over there. Can you see him? So I have a few minutes, so I'm going to go check this out. Quick break here. Steven didn't need to be relieved right away, so I have a little bit of time. Oh, it's really dusty. So I have a little bit of time before I have to go back. He wanted to go through the next division, which will take another maybe 10, 20 minutes. So I went and got a coffee. Beautiful out here. Southern California. So we were able to get through all the non-do division really quickly, surprisingly fast. It's really loud. I wonder if you can hear me. Let me use the mic. It's amazing. I'm seeing people I haven't seen in decades and decades. So if you didn't guess already, I am at Collegiates at UCLA. You probably figured that out because of the title of the video. I've only been to Collegiates twice in my life before. Once was UC Irvine and once was Riverside, and that was like 20 plus years ago. So a lot of the people competing now were not alive when I last attended a Collegiates competition. I haven't really been involved in the Collegiate Wushu scene in the US. So this is a really interesting opportunity to sort of see what the current state of Collegiate Wushu is here. And it's interesting to see what level the athletes are at. But you know, Collegiates is a different vibe. It's a lot of energy, a lot more endurance, a lot more stamina. Right now it's 10 a.m. Is that correct? Wow, we're making a really good time. But I'm gonna go back inside and just make sure that Steven's doing okay and see if I'm needed at all. Let's get back inside and do this thing. That was a long day. The competition was intense, but it's over. How did it go? I have some thoughts, but I think I need to ponder them a bit, maybe over the next couple days, and then I'll let you guys know what I think about the current state of Collegiate Wushu. But right now I'm gonna go. Here's the weird thing. I'm sore, and I don't know why, because I just sat there all day. I guess I'm sore from sitting. I got to do a quick hangout for just a few minutes with Li Jing and Brian Cartago and a few folks. Oh my goodness. It is 11:30 in the evening and I'm near LAX. It just so happened that I was able to meet up with Jennifer and Avi and Wang Wei. They happened to be at LAX, and so I met up with them at the Denny's here, and we just kind of chatted for about a half hour or so. Really nice to catch up with them again. I am tired and sore, and I need to rest. And I still need to kind of think about this whole wushu thing with Collegiate Wushu. It's different than it used to be. And a lot of the old school wushu folks were all talking about, wow, it's different now. I got to figure out exactly what that means, because yeah, it's different, but how is it different? I don't know. I'm going to think about it. Next couple days, I'll be spending some time with my dad and then working. I'll think about it and come back and let you know what's going on in my brain as I figure it out. Right now, I'm going to go back and sleep because I'm tired. The next couple days I spent hanging out with my family.
Do a little route over there. We're gonna go to the elevator.
Okay, perfect. My dad and I were able to take in an Angels game in Anaheim. And on Monday I went to a co-working space in Costa Mesa and got some work done. Each day I spent some time pondering the collegiate competition. Until all too soon Tuesday came and it was time to fly back to Tulsa. All right, I left my dad's. That's a little bittersweet. Time to head to the airport. I gotta return my rental car in like 25 minutes. So let's go. I am here now at Long Beach Airport waiting for my flight. A little bit of a hack when you're traveling. Long Beach Airport is in 2 terminals. Terminal 2 is Southwest, which is super crazy busy. People are always there. If you're going to be here and you have time to kill, or even if you just only have half an hour to your flight, come into Terminal 1 and wait here because there's no one in this terminal. Quieter here. You can get coffee. There's no lines. My sister taught me this. When you come to Long Beach Airport, hang out in this terminal, and it's just a better place to be. Here on board a flight from Long Beach to Denver. It is super empty. And hello from Denver, Colorado. I am here at the airport waiting for my flight back to Tulsa. And I've had some time to think about the current state of Collegiate WUSHU. And let me break it down this way. There's 3 things. Just some thoughts on the challenges of Collegiate WUSHU. And then also kind of things I think could be worked on, and then things I think that are done really well. One of the challenges with Wushu on the collegiate scene is that you get a really diverse range of abilities. You get people who just started Wushu. And so you get a lot of the beginner category, a lot of people who just starting out. After that, I would say the next challenge is that you get a lot of people also who've been doing it since they were kids. Maybe they started when they were like elementary, junior high, when their parents put them in Wushu or they wanted to do it, and then they get to college and now they're like at the top of the pecking order in terms of their collegiate Wushu club. So they've been doing it a while. They got really good. Maybe they got some really good Nandu because they've been working on it for like 5 to 10 years on their own in a class. So they have a high level of ability. So you get people who are like crazy good. Maybe they've tried out for the team. Maybe they're on the team. That kind of level. I was teaching at UC Berkeley Cal Wushu for a little while, for like a year. One of the challenges is that when you're first starting out and you see these people who've been doing it for a while going really impressive stuff, it creates an unrealistic expectation about what you can accomplish in the 3 to 4 years that you'll be doing Wushu on a collegiate level. I've found that there tends to be a lot of opportunities for injuries. People who've been doing it since they were little kids, they're going to naturally be more flexible, stronger, more powerful, faster, all that stuff. They have a natural aptitude to learn new styles quickly because they've been learning styles for many years. To train for a longevity, even if you're only going to be doing it for 3 or 4 years, is a better path, I think, than training for being impressive. Training to protect your knees and your joints and your ankles, training for better mobility, better range of motion, better strength through that whole range of motion is really important. So that's the challenge. You get such a diversity of ranges of abilities, even within the same age group. Hey, this is Mark editing the video. I realized one thing that actually is good about having the diversity of experiences in a class is that it also provides inspiration and motivation for people who are starting to enhance and advance their levels of Wushu. And that's also an attribute that's positive in this respect. But so I didn't want you to think it's only about the negative stuff. There is some really good stuff about having people who know a little bit more around people who don't know so that they can kind of guide them as well. So that's also an aspect of this too. I just didn't mention it when I was talking about the challenges. So what do I think needs to be worked on? Well, always fundamental. I was judging beginners, intermediates. I also did the Nandu division. Even within the Nandu division, I think the greatest deficiencies I saw were a lack of pacing and rhythm. So there were forms that were just kind of done monotone. No dynamic ranges of speed and just no dynamics to them. There was a video, I think Brandon made a video a while back
He was a live stream, I forget, but he was talking about rhythm and how differences in pacing of your form and when to stop and when to pause, when to go slow, when to go fast, all that stuff really has a big impact on how your forms are perceived. So I think that makes a big difference. And with non-do division, supposedly the advanced students, I think that's what really separates the people who really understand it versus those. Also among the non-do, there was a general lack of explosive power, that pop of when you're doing wushu. I mean, there's some strong kicks and there's some strong motion, but there was no explosive motion. There's no like boom kind of stuff. And so I think that explosive power is really important. And again, that's another thing that separates out the higher level athletes from the just general high athletes. But I think it just takes a lot of practice and experience. And I noticed for some reason a lot of tight shoulders and a lack of being relaxed, not just in the shoulders, but just being relaxed in your general motion. The thing that actually makes you faster is by being more relaxed. It isn't by being, stiff. And relaxing and acting more like a whip versus a stick. I think that's really important. Those are the main deficiencies I saw. The athletes in general, especially the higher level athletes, I think that would separate them and help them out. Technique wise, everyone can work on their basics a little bit more. One of the things that I saw that could be adjusted was that some people who were intermediate level were competing with beginner forms, and some people who were beginners were competing with intermediate or advanced forms. People doing compulsories in the beginner division or versions of a compulsory in the beginner division is tricky. I don't know if it's necessarily against the rules or anything. Some competitions it is, some it isn't, but it's generally just not a good idea because it puts a bad impression, especially if your fundamentals are still on the basic level, but you're learning a form that's too advanced for you. For one, I think it shows that maybe the person that coached you or taught you that form didn't recognize that you need to work on some more fundamental forms first. Every coach is different, but I would probably not teach a compulsory form to someone who is still kind of just getting past like the Chuji level, the beginner level. And then again, you get people who have really stellar basics, really good fundamentals, but they're doing a very beginning forms, not even the 32, but like a super beginner level form. That's doing yourself a disservice. You should be doing a form that is at your level, especially if you're an intermediate and you're competing against other intermediates. They'll be doing intermediate forms. If you're doing a beginner form, you're shortchanging yourself on your score because there's not a diversity of technique or a diversity of movements within your form. And one of the things that you get judged on is that diversity, that ability to showcase a lot of different techniques within your form. And if you only have like the same 7 to 10 techniques in your form over and over, that's an issue. So it's good to test yourself and to try and learn new things. But as far as competition goes, you should compete with the form that you're strongest in and can do the best in. And of course there's exceptions to this. I think just in general, that's a good policy to follow and it comes down to curriculum and having a sort of a really good coaching system that makes sure that everyone progresses in a method that makes the most sense for their ability level. In terms of what went well, I mean, just the sheer number of collegiate athletes that were there is impressive. And I know there are probably even some schools that didn't show up. I didn't see anyone from UT Austin there, or maybe I just missed them. But there's probably a lot of college clubs that weren't able to make it out to UCLA, which means that there's even more athletes within the collegiate wushu scene, which is amazing because, back in the day, the collegiates did not have that many people. It was like 6 schools across the country, if you're lucky. So that's pretty cool. And just the growth. And as I said before, you get a lot of people who have trained for much longer by the time they get to college. So back in the day, like when I was doing wushu back in the college era, I wasn't in college at the time, but when I was doing it back then, a lot of people started wushu in college or maybe just in high school or something, but there very few people had been doing it since they were kids, and they really stood out. But you get a lot more of those people now because there's a lot more wushu schools and a lot more kids starting wushu, and you're going to see even more and more as we go forward. The collegiate wushu scene is going to just explode even further with higher and higher levels of advanced students. And even, if you look at junior team trials, I've watched some athletes who are training for that, and their levels are really high. And even though they're doing like the lower level forms, like the old compulsory or the Chuji Changchuan or stuff like that, the 32s, their level of quality of movements and their level of technique is high enough where once they get to college in like 5 to 10 years from now, they're all going to just kick butt. So that's pretty cool. I think the state of collegiate wushu, and you get the situation with a lot of wushu athletes that the older generation always kind of poo-poos the younger generation as being too flashy and too concerned with nandu. And while it might be true that the older generations, maybe they were a little deeper into the well of wushu understanding, and they practice a lot more fundamentals, or it was very rich culture of wushu that they went into. You can't deny that the newer generations have very high level of physical ability. I mean, because physical training keeps getting better, they can do things that athletes couldn't do back in the day. And even if their underlying core spirit of wushu might be lacking to some degree, at least the physicality is definitely there. And I think you can, find people who are trying to capture that spirit of wushu. There's some athletes I saw there that just did a really, some of their stuff was phenomenal. One person I'm thinking of in particular, I won't say names because that's not important, but plus I'm a judge, so I have to be impartial. But there was one person in particular that their quality of movement and their spirit of what they're doing and their technique, and it's just amazing to watch. And so kudos to them. You don't know who you are, but good job. But yeah, I think things are going in the right direction overall. I'm really happy to see that. It's been a while since I saw a collegiate wushu competition, and just in general, just a lot of gratitude for having the opportunity to be there. Thanks to UCLA for inviting me out. It was wonderful to see people I hadn't seen in decades and friends that I've had in my life for a long time. It was wonderful to see all of them and just to spend time. Thank you, and thanks for watching this, of course. But for me, it's back to Tulsa now, back to my wushu training challenges, but that's for another video. I got about half an hour to my flight board, so I'm going to just spend a little time relaxing, thinking about my plans for wushu. Until next time, keep training hard. Jayo.